Cool. All right, boom. All right, so boom. What's good, y'all? What's up? My name is Vosi. Welcome to Tuesday Testimonials. Today we are doing the 14th Atheist Testimonial with my homie J-Man. He's another person that I met on the Ask r/Ask Black Atheist Reddit. If you would like to join that, just go to Reddit r/Black Atheist. The Discord is in my bio. You do have to be black to join. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring my homie J-Man to the stage. J-Man, how's it going?
Yo, what's happening?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How's it going? Say you won't be able to see the YouTube chat. You probably only see the. You won't be able to see the TikTok chat. You only see the YouTube chat. But over on TikTok, if you have any questions for J-Man, I am taking questions. I will save them for the end of the stream, and we'll ask them. If you're watching over on YouTube, go ahead and let me know any questions that you may have, and I'll ask them as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get this all started off. J-Man, how's it going? Tell the people who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, hey, I'm J-Man. For my job, I'm an apprentice union plumber and an Army reservist. That's
Cool.
really just for me and my job. Some of my hobbies is playing soccer, football, reading a little bit, manga, anime, games, all the nerd stuff.
Hey man, like this is a safe place for blurs. So hell yeah, I heard the Demon Slayer movie is good. So I'm gonna plan to watch that soon.
I gotta
Yeah,
go fight my friend about that. We were supposed to go and watch it last weekend, but he ain't hit me up.
Yeah, man. It's crazy that you're an Army reservist because I was an Air Force reservist.
Oh, so you had it better than me.
Yeah, we had it way better.
Can we curse on here? I didn't. My bad.
No, it's cool. It's all cool. Yeah, you could curse on here. Like I don't care. But every single time I meet someone from the Army or the Marines or the Navy, they all said, "Man, I should join the Air Force. You guys get steaks. I get the best mess halls and everything." But the
that's
Army does.
Was treated on when I went on my deployment. Man, fuck y'all.
But the Army does get better, more like bonuses. Yeah, I mean, y'all bonuses are huge compared to the Air Force.
Signing up to do all that stupid shit.
Yeah, man.
You convince some motherfucker who's already got a wife, kids, go like, listen, bro, I got a great deal for you, man. We're gonna go out in the woods, right? Gonna stay out there for a couple weeks. Food, don't even worry about foods. We got these. They're basically Lunchables, dog. you gotta go convince a motherfucker like that and tell them, by the way, you're on $35,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly, boy. And
5 other people.
Boy, and them MREs, boy. Oh my god. Now some of them was good. You know what I mean? I was able to get some good MREs, but some of them. Some of them are terrible. So, J-Man, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone who's watching on YouTube, everyone who's joining in on TikTok. Go ahead and drop those likes. We are doing a Tuesday testimonial. So, J-Man, like how I always start this off, we always start off on how exactly we became a minority within a minority, because we all know that in the Black community, no matter if it's in the Caribbean, if it's over on the motherland, if it's in South America, or here in the good old United States and Canada, we love us some Jesus. You know what I mean? So what exactly happened with you? How did you go from, or if you always believed, or if you never believed, you know what I mean, how was it going up as a non-believer within a believer culture? Or if you did grow up a believer, how did you go to from belief to non-belief?
All right, yeah. I'd say I've always been, I wouldn't specify it as atheism until I got into like high school, but I was always a non-believer. And I think that's just because my dad didn't raise me. He didn't raise me and point me in any which direction. He didn't say positively, nah, God's not real or God is real. His reasoning for having me go to churches, though, because he never affirmed or denied whether it was real or not, at least not until I got older. But he always had me go to all these different churches for 2 reasons. Initially, the first reason is he said that he thinks that some of the values within certain religions, Christianity in particular, he believes some of them are good. So it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to grow up with a little bit of those. And the other one is networking. My dad's a very, very networking oriented person. He
Mhm.
feels that you should be social if for no other reason than go and find other people who can do something for you later. So that
Mhm.
was another reason that he had me go to all these different places. And it wasn't just Christianity. He had me go to an Indian church at one time. And although this was on my own after I came back from my deployment a couple of years, I went to an Islam place, a mosque, I believe it's called. I went to one of those a bit ago. And talk about that funny story there later. That's where I find out that I might have had some bigotry installed in me during
Mhm.
boot camp.
Oh yeah, yeah. We definitely gonna get into into that because we know
Funnier
that
story about that. We can talk about that later.
because we know that religion, especially in the West, tends to be very problematic. You know what I mean? So yeah, we definitely could talk about that. So that's very interesting. Your dad took you around other religions, took you to Hindu temples, took you to the mosques and the churches. Now, I mean, and that is true. Like there is a lot of value that religions teach, sure. Um, but I think he was trying to get you into some community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Networking is very, very important. So community is also very, very important. Like so he was a guy that didn't tell you what to believe or anything like that, but he brought you around those type of things. Um, did you ever feel skepticism towards any of it, or like, wow, this seems like a whole bunch of crap?
Yeah, like it did as a kid. Okay, I will tell you a little funny story that popped up in my head while I was
Mhm.
coming on here. I think it was when I was still in New York for a bit, and I was a kid. I want to say I was like before double digits, maybe like 8 or 9 or something. And I was at church. It might have been for a family. I think I was visiting family, is what it was. And we sat up in one of those benches and stuff. And I'm not really paying attention to what's going on or nothing. I'm just sitting there, swinging my legs and stuff. I'm just ready to get out of there. And I, it's a little cringy thinking about it now, but I made a promise. I don't even remember what the promise was. It was something really silly. I do know that. And I was like, God, if you help me get this, I promised I'll be good. And I looked up and I took my right arm, I put it behind my back, and I crossed my fingers. And that's a memory that's really vivid and stands out to me. But no, it's never something that I really believed wholeheartedly. It was always more of a like, my friend says he has an imaginary friend. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things. Everybody's got the same imaginary friend, good for them. But I don't know. I don't know who this guy is.
You know that's like extremely interesting because like in a lot of ways, um we a lot of us didn't grow up like that, right? It was always like this is the truth. You feel me? You don't find a lot of people like yourself, especially in our community, who grew up where it wasn't really, this is the truth. It's more like this is a community and these are some values you should learn.
Right.
And which what I think like religion should actually be. Yeah, I mean, because to me it's always been like the way I view a lot of religions is basically these are philosophical schools of thought that take metaphysics very seriously. You know what I mean? There are some philosophical schools of thought that takes the politics seriously, or the aesthetics seriously, stuff like that. But it seems that religion just takes metaphysics very, very seriously. You know what I mean? And it's very interesting that you're a person that didn't grow up with that being forced. Now how about like your friendships? They all, get into it, and were they all like religious people, and were you like the outlier of someone who wasn't?
Nah, as a person, especially as a kid, because you really don't have much control over, the people that you're around most of the time. It's usually your parents doing that stuff for you.
Mhm.
But even then and up till now, I'm a very introverted person. I don't like other people, that cliche has to happen where other people adopt you into their friend group. I
Mhm.
don't go out of my way to make friends. So when I was a kid, I had a consistent group of like 3 or 4 people that I was friends with. One of them I was really good friends with in particular. I still talk to
Mhm.
him every now and then today. But religion wasn't something that really ever came up for us, especially because we're kids. That stuff doesn't matter to us. We're out here
Yeah,
going
yeah.
and getting ourselves hurt down at the park and things like that, scraping our knees, falling off our bikes and stuff.
Mhm.
It was only my one friend in particular. I go and hang out and stay over his house every now and then for the night. And part of the condition for that his mom had was that, okay, you can stay over the weekend, but you're coming to
Mhm.
church with us come Sunday morning.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I definitely had that. Well, growing up in church, that's all of my friends were from there. You know what I mean? And then when I moved to Texas, about age of 12, when I made friends over there and I had sleepovers, it was the same thing. You come to church with us in the morning, you feel me? And I moving back to Florida, and it was exactly the same thing. You come to church with us in the morning. It was always the same thing. But that is quite interesting that you didn't grow up in that. But even in your friendship groups, it was never like a made a big deal. I think religion became more of a big deal for us when I became a teenager. Funny story.
Yeah,
I
definitely
have
did.
a I have a very similar story to yours. When I became a teenager, like I was listening to a radio show, right? And someone said, "Hey, prayer really does work." Yeah, I mean, because I prayed for something and it happened or whatever. He said, "So for all you young men out there, y'all trying to get it in with someone, go to God and say, yo, God, this girl with that ass, I'm really trying to smash." you know what I mean? And me being an impressionable
Probably get a lot more
teenager,
people. You probably get a lot more people in if you start. That's how you feel to
exactly.
the young folks.
Exactly, start
That's the
having
way
that booty gospel. You know what I mean? That's what I started calling it. Yeah, I mean, booty gospel. So like me being an impressionable 14, 15-year-old, yeah, I mean, having those feelings and trying to get it in like but the rest of my friends were. I'm like, all right, God, what I mean? This pretty girl named Tanisha in my math class. You feel me? She been looking at me. You know? Yeah, man. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about those teenage years. How was that being one of those because I know me in my teenage years, my social life, a lot of it was at church. Now, of course, I was in track, so I had friends in school. I was in like AP classes, so I had to go to those things. But like majority of my social life was literally just church. Yeah, I mean, like on the weekends, of course, we had to go visit another church. On on Saturdays and Sundays on spring break, we would have football tournaments, and those football tournaments would be like against other churches. You know what I'm saying? Like your social experience as a teenager being in this community, was it something similar, and or you couldn't join those things because you didn't really have a church or a mosque to go to?
Teenage years, I really wouldn't have had an opportunity to do much of church things because I went back and forth between Florida and Alabama because my mom and dad, they live in two different states. So
Mhm.
around my teenage years, especially in high school, I wasn't really too much in one spot too long to make any of those connections,
Mhm.
which didn't bother me at all again. Because like I said, I stayed my ass in the house. I didn't,
Mhm.
like I said, other people have to adopt me into their friend group. I don't actively go out searching for people most of the time anyway. I'm a little bit more active now, finding more other black people and stuff.
Mhm.
But for the most part, growing up as a kid, that's really how it is. Other people have to come and say, "Hey, you want to come and hang out with us over here? We're doing this thing." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do that." So
Yeah,
at least from that point, it wasn't no big deal for me.
no big deal. Yeah, my teenagers was full of that, and let me tell you, like church teenagers, they could be worse than your regular everyday teenagers. I'll tell you the truth, but that saying about the pastor's kids, yeah, because I am a pastor's kid. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's that saying about us is absolutely true. All right, y'all, go ahead and keep liking the live. If y'all have any questions for J Man, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I do appreciate you all. But um, yeah. So being someone like who didn't really grow up religious, did it ever come up like as a thing when you got actually close to people? You know what I mean? Did they ever ask you about it? Or because I know for me, like a lot of people that I grew up with when I was young, now they know that I'm not a believer anymore. It's one of those things of, what happened, come back to the fold, brother. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. You know what I mean? For you, when you grew up and started getting close with people and started building those friendships, did those things ever come up, or it was just never a thing for you either?
Enough. Not with any of my friend groups anyway. It's not something we talk about. Not because it's a sensitive topic or anything. If you see our fucking group chat, we'll throw memes about all kinds of shit, including that all day, every day, you know, and
Mhm.
they know I'm an atheist too. I don't know what the fuck they are, guys, but we know generally, you know, kind of where we stand on things. Really, it hasn't been a problem for me with friendships. Just familiar. My mother, it was a problem for. With my
Mhm.
dad, like I said, it wasn't an issue for him. And while I don't know, well, I can't say for 100% certain because I never asked him. I'm quite confident he's an atheist. I see how what the things he's said in our family group chat and stuff. So I'm
Mhm.
quite confident that me and him are right there. And like I said, when I got older and stuff, you know, sometimes you make jokes about it, have conversations and things. So I'm pretty sure we're right there. I've just never asked him like explicitly, "Hey, are you an atheist?" You know,
Mhm.
but I'm pretty sure right there. The only issue I've ever run into was with my mom. That was a real big problem for her.
Yeah, tell me about that. What happened with your moms? Because I know with my parents, yeah, it became an issue. But what happened with your moms?
Yeah, well, with my mom, I'll start by saying it was a real big shock the way she reacted
Mhm.
like this because for some background, my mother is somebody who has fought tooth and nail for me ever since I was born.
Mhm.
Mostly due to my dad. I don't know exactly how I describe him. I don't have the best relationship with him. I don't have the worst relationship with him. He's not somebody I hold in very high esteem, but at the same time, like I'm not gonna go and talk trash on him.
Mhm.
So growing up, it was difficult to be his kid, is what I'll say about that. There were really high highs and like really fucking low lows being his kid.
Mhm.
And so my mom fought him tooth and nail a lot of the times just for custody battles and even for us just to go and hang out with her over the fucking weekends, you know. And so from then, even all the way up until now, she's always been in my corner, always been fighting for me, always been my champion, is how I describe her. And so when I came home from school one day from high school, I don't remember if I wasn't a senior. I don't think so. I think it was second or third year, one of those two. I came and I went into her room and I told her that I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of this religious stuff or none of that. And dog, she
Mhm.
looked me dead in my eye, like no, like dead fucking serious, like I had just fucking shot her.
Mhm.
And she said, the exact quote is, "You are an evil child of the devil."
Wow.
And so to hear that from my mom, who, like I was saying, up until like 16, 17 years, dog, she's over here every fucking day of her life trying to
Mhm.
make sure that we're okay, trying to get custody of me, trying to make sure that I'm fed, clothed, that we spend as much time together, all of this. And to hear those words come out of her mouth, that we all our relationship was almost like that really, really could have been the end of our relationship. It
Mhm.
was really bad.
Wow, man. Now I'm that's bad. That's terrible to hear. I'm sorry about that, man. That's pretty awful. Did y'all ever were able to mend it, make it better for her to like understand where you're coming from?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I think during that, oddly enough, we managed to actually do it within the week. Which,
Mhm.
looking back now, I realize is insane. The turnaround she had from you're an you're an evil child of the devil to her over here fucking sitting down and apologizing like she just realized what she did.
Mhm.
Or I believe it was 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Like we didn't talk to each other at all. And I don't mean we didn't talk to each other like it was just hi, bye, how was your day? I mean, we didn't speak a word to each other.
Mhm.
And I think at the 2 day mark, she came over and she gave me a half-assed apology at first, is what it was. Like, it was one of those apologies where you feel that there might be a little bit of regret in there, but it's a pride thing for them that they
Mhm.
just don't want to give you that apology.
Definitely.
And so that's what it was. And I said, whatever. And I just went back inside because she was out guarding. I just went back inside and we didn't talk again for like another day. And then at the end of that day, when I came home from school, she came over, she sat me down and she told me, she was thinking about what happened and how that wasn't a good enough apology. And she looked me in my eyes. She said, "I'm very, very sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. I didn't understand. Can we try and make this better?" And we did. We didn't
Mhm.
talk about it much
Mhm.
there. It was more of just a, I didn't understand that this is something that you, I guess, didn't believe in. I should say this is something
Mhm.
that you didn't believe in. I shouldn't have reacted that way. I'd like it if we can, move past this. I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
And
and
she did that. I didn't even have to come back up to her and tell her, hey, you really hurt me when you said that. She came to that all on her own. I don't know. Maybe she
Mhm.
might have called a family member or something and they talked some sense into her. But either way,
Mhm.
it shows that she went and did it on her own. She thought maybe I shouldn't have said that to him. Let me go and see what I can do about it. And she came on her own, came over and she apologized properly. And we've had a significantly better relationship since then. Yeah, especially out to today. We'll actually make jokes, not about that specific event, but just about how our beliefs, non-beliefs differ a bit. We'll make jokes about it. Last year, before I moved into this house, she was actually watching one of those African movies, like the homemade stuff that they put up on
Yeah.
YouTube. She loves those. She fucking
Oh
loves
yeah, yeah. Nollywood. My parents love Nollywood.
it. Yeah. She
Mm.
was watching one of those and stuff. And one of the fucking things about one of the scenes, it was talking about ghosts and something because one of the kids in there was talking to some ghost or something. And she sat there and she laughed and she said, that is so silly that they're over here, even if it's just a show, believe talking about ghosts and stuff. And I
Mhm.
looked at her and said, you believe in ghosts. She looked back at me and said, what? No, I don't. I said, yeah, you do. They're part of your Trinity, ain't the Father, the Son, the Holy
And the
Ghost.
Holy
That's
Ghost. Yeah.
you believe in that. And she just laughed. She said, whatever. And she went
Mhm.
back to watching and stuff. And when she was here last week with my grandmother and my brother,
Mhm.
when she was driving around here, she she after she came and got settled in for a bit, she said, man, this is a beautiful house, but I just know that you don't like the neighborhood. And I smiled at her. I said, oh yeah, why is that? She said, all of these churches that are around here. I saw
Mhm.
3 churches just while I was driving up to the house. I say, yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're gonna be very surprised when you walk around these blocks. Because no bullshit,
Mhm.
there's a sign right at the end of our street there, and it says Churchville on it. And that is the most accurate sign. Because I'm not lying to you. When I first moved in here, I think 2 days after, I started walking around the neighborhood a bit, walking around the blocks and seeing, kind of where everything's at.
Mhm.
I counted 8 churches, all within 4 blocks of each other, all around my house.
Let me
And
tell
about
you.
5 or 6 of them, they look
Mhm.
empty. They're empty and run the fuck down. But
Oh
at
yeah.
minimum, there are at least 8 churches within like 4 blocks of me, and then there are 3 more up the road from me. So yeah, Churchville is a definitely earned designator for this place.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and you know what's funny is like I live in Florida, right? And I grew up in South Florida. I grew up in Miami. People, and whenever people say that Florida or South Florida is not the South, I always looked at them and I'd be like, do you consider the South the Bible Belt? Most people say, yeah.
Yeah,
Miami is very much the Bible Belt. Yeah, yeah. I mean, people forget that even though there's a lot of Cubans down there, most Cubans are what? They're Catholic. You know what I mean? So it's very still much the Bible Belt. Like a lot of black people down here are Haitians. Haitians in America tend to be Protestant, which is kind of funny because over in Haiti they tend to be Catholic. So it's when they come over here they tend to be Protestant. It's a little funny, but yeah, it's very still much the Bible Belt. Like when I was growing up, it was the same thing. There was a church literally on every single block. My parents' house still to this day, church on every single block. You know what I mean? There's a church down the street. Across the street from that is a plaza with a church, and a plaza next to that plaza is another plaza with guess what?
yeah,
2 churches.
yeah.
You
It's
know what I
just
mean? So nothing but churches around, you know what I mean? But
for a second, you're like, when the fuck did another one get here?
yeah, exactly.
Start multiplying on you.
Multiple churches. As a matter of fact, it was inevitable that there was going to be a Haitian that created a mega church, and that finally happened. Pastor Greg, Tabernacle of Glory, the first Haitian church that's a mega church. You know what I mean? 4,000 seats, and I always knew that was going to happen because
Yeah.
yeah, I always knew that was going to happen. But because when we, but what I was gonna say is that I'm really glad that you and your mom was able to like mend that and figure that out because I do hear a lot of stories of parents just kind of disowning their kids. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, or friends like breaking up with their kids. Now that never happened to me because like I don't think my parents even understand it. I don't think my sisters understand it because they keep saying like last year, or actually 2 years ago, I got into a car accident, right? I got into a hit and run, and I got a concussion. Like a car just kind of hit me and I flipped over and I hit my head. So I had to go to the hospital and all that good stuff, right? Now, of course, what everybody told me was, God saved me, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But my when my sisters came to see me in the hospital, they were like, "Oh no, it was God that saved you, not the atheist God." And I'm looking at her like,
He is
there
God.
is there is no atheist God. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So when she told that to me, I was like, okay, they don't understand it. They really don't. Yeah, I mean, so it's I'm really happy that y'all was able to mend that, because soon as there's a misunderstanding, it can ruin entire relationships, which
Yeah.
is what I've seen. So I'm happy
There's
that
horror
happened to
stories of
you.
these kids out here doing the same thing I did, getting thrown out of the house. Like, you're like, damn, that's a rough thing to do to a fucking 16, 17-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that 17-year-old, 18-year-old get, moved out the house, kicked out the house. And it's like, yo, we have to stop doing that in the black community, y'all. Y'all realize 18-year-olds are kids, right? Like they don't know shit.
I don't give a
You
fuck
know what
what
I
the
mean?
law says, dog. 18, I was 18 once, dog. We were
Mhm.
still very much fucking kids.
Yeah, man. I remember being 18. I was legit, man. Like I ain't know a damn thing. Yeah, I mean, now I thought I knew everything, because
Yeah,
your whole life you're told that when you become 18 you're an adult, but
yeah,
you don't
everything.
really know shit.
Whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, you're a
Uh,
little worse off there because a lot of the fucking support systems and structures that you had, they're gone now. The kitty
they're
closed them
gone
all.
now.
You gotta figure this shit out.
Exactly. Exactly. They're gone now. You know what I mean? Critical thinking is out the window. Like a lot of 18-year-old kids nowadays, they just jump on Twitch, get like probably like 1,000 subscribers, making five bands a month, and boom, they living it up. You know what I mean? So critical thinking is out the window. You know what I mean? And which is kind of I'm kind of jealous of the youth today, because we didn't have Twitch and all that when we were young. If I had all that when I was young, boy, I'll be living it up when I was a kid. But we ain't got that. Now we got 16-year-olds who just jump on Twitch and they're making bands. You feel me?
Oh yeah, you see it. It'd be young ass kids too. Some of them just teens or preteens and stuff. They'll be over here in like these fucking Fortnite tournaments and shit, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Competing for millions of dollars. I'm like, wow, that's some wild shit.
Yeah, exactly. Back in our day, it was just
Okay.
playing. Back in our days, it was just playing Madden, and you bet on it for $5. And
Yeah,
if you was getting beat by 21 points, you had to get off the sticks. Yeah, I'm saying that's what we had. That's what we had. You know, what I mean, we didn't have all that. Now we had Madden tournaments, but we didn't have all that. But yeah, man, let me get to one question that Purple Dragon had for us. She said, did you find that church youth were more or less prepared for life than secular children? For example, more or less likely to get pregnant or scammed? Uh, what do you think, Jay, man? Have you been around like church youth and seen anything like that?
really the only church youth that I really know. Like I said, I keep to my fucking self. I don't pay attention to other people all too much. But the only ones I really know are my two cousins on my dad's side,
Mhm.
and provided they were also homeschooled, so that could have played a factor into it. They were homeschooled until high school, I believe it is. And one of them, the younger one, I don't know what the fuck he's doing actually. I haven't talked to him in a while. But the older one, she's looking at joining the Navy, apparently as a Navy nuke. So I say it's a scam right fucking there. I'm calling him. I'm over here trying to beg her, can we get you over to the Air Force at least? Or if you're gonna be in the
Yeah.
Navy, let's not get you into the nuke. I don't know much about them, but from the shit that I've been reading, their mental health is not the fucking greatest. So
Nah, not good.
yeah,
Not
her
good.
only concern is just paying for college. So if that's really it, I'd really like to just push you over to the Air Force if I can.
Yeah.
That's the same thing
Yeah.
I did with one of my other cousins. He was looking at joining the army. I told him, don't do this shit. Go over to the fucking Air Force.
Yeah,
And so
man. Go to USAFA. Yeah,
about that.
because USAFA is probably your best bet. Go to USAFA. Now I would say this in my experience. Church youth, they're prepared for life in the way of like being able to join a community and being very, very social, right? Like a lot of church youth are not actually socially awkward, because they grew up around people. They know how to interact and everything like that. Now, more likely to get scammed, yeah.
I believe that.
Especially
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, especially if you throw Jesus in there. The moment
Yeah,
you
that's
throw Jesus in there, yeah, they're very likely to get scammed. And one thing about growing up in black church is that anti-racism is made part of the theology. So if you get someone like an Umar Johnson, you know what I'm saying, who preaches anti-racism,
oh, fucking, we were talking about this loser.
yeah, it's very easy to fall for stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's very, very easy. And it concerns me as well because I do find a lot of especially my sisters, you know what I mean, a lot of them fall for like manosphere stuff. You'll you'll be
Really, your
surprised.
sisters do.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how many female fans Kevin Samuels had. You'll be very
Wow.
surprised. You'll be very surprised how many female fans that even the Fresh and Fit guys have. You'd be very surprised. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
see, I could kind of see the set Kevin Samuels, but the Fresh and Fit
Mm.
guys, that's a little off.
Crazy, right?
It's off for them. Kevin Samuels, I can kind of get. All right,
Yeah, Kevin Samuels I can kind of get because of he his message was like around patriarchy and the black community is patriarchal. So like I can see that there. But when it came to
you gotta
the
talk
Fresh
to
and
them.
Fit guys and the Andrew Tates out there, I'm like, how are you a woman? You're a fan of these guys? That's
I'm
insane to
telling
me.
you, motherfuckers telling you straight to your face, like, hey, you're fucking worthless. Okay.
Yeah, you're worthless. Yeah, it's really fucking crazy. Like I've never it shocked me like how many women would tell me that, oh, I like what Andrew Tate says, I like what Myron
Like,
Gaines says.
what?
It's like, what?
Got
Have
a
you
kid?
heard what they said?
Almost
You know what I
25?
mean?
Worthless. You have a
Yeah,
job? Worthless.
worthless.
Worthless. Like, what, come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm like, have y'all seen these clips? You know what I mean? And be like, oh, those clips are taken out of context. Like, no,
That's the
they're
worst
not.
part. And defending it too is like, nah, we both watched the same fucking video. I was watching you watch the video.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, it's not. It's not out of context. You know what I mean? How do you follow people like this? You know what I'm saying? So,
If it is out of context, is this okay?
mhm.
Does the context make this any better for you? Really?
Yeah, exactly. And it's what concerns me about what's been concerning me about black church is that, or what's been concerning me about black Christianity is appreciate the question, Purple Drag, appreciate that. What's been concerning me about black Christianity is I'm gonna make a video about this as well. A lot of people have been starting to get cooned out for Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really been happening a lot, especially around, Buddy who got, hit the other day, especially around him, because you're finding a lot of black Christians talking about, he was a brother in Christ and all that good stuff.
Dog?
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
y'all
And it's
been seeing
like,
that shit on Facebook?
bruh, what?
Motherfuckers over there crying like they just shot somebody's daughter.
Duh, on Facebook, on Threads, Threads, the Facebook Twitter equivalent.
Yeah, no way.
That is the most raccoon infested place I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit. It's worse than Facebook. I'm like, bruh, are y'all serious with this? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, this is what I started doing. I started asking every single black Christian that I see doing that. I started asking them one question. Is heaven segregated?
You
You know
know,
what I'm saying? I started to ask them that same
that's a good
question.
question there.
Is
That's
heaven segregated? You know what I'm saying? Because this is the same guy that said civil rights was a mistake. You know what I mean? So now I got to ask you, do you think heaven is segregated? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
yes, Mormons. They might tell you that.
oh yeah, Mormons will tell you that it probably is. Mormons will tell you that people who look like us are probably not even getting in. You know what I'm saying? Because we betrayed Jesus or whatever. Really, really crazy. But yeah, man, like that really concerns me about black Christendom right now, because before, when I was growing up, anti-racism was part of the theology, was part of the ethos. You know what I'm saying? Being a racist was against Jesus's entire message. You see what I'm saying? Nowadays, they're being palatable to it. They're forgetting all the racist stuff just because he was a Jesus freak, and it's very concerning. You know what I mean? Yeah, falling for Christian nationalism has always been like a concern of mine, especially when I got out of Christianity. I was like, there's a lot of people who can fall for this shit. You know what I mean? And now we're starting to see it. Yeah, man.
Take just 1 second and switch this light on real quick.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
right. That should be a little better, I hope.
Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Like speaking on the political aspect of things, like it seems like you're more on probably on my end of politics. Has that always been for you? Because when I was Christian, I could tell you I was probably a big conservative, like very transphobic, very homophobic, very, black people need to pull up by their bootstraps and go back to Jesus, all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I was on when I was a teenager. But somehow still thinking I was going to vote for Democrats when I was older, which was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But then when I left, when I started to get older and started to interact with the world, I started to go a little bit more left. And then finally, when I left Christianity, I went all the way left. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically a socialist now. So,
well, you see, that's what happens when you're in the fucking military and you have everything just provided for you. Okay, so look at that. Socialism shit is actually pretty fucking good. Go to sick call whenever I'm fucking ready. I got the barracks whenever I'm fucking ready. I get high enough in rank, you kick me out and give me a house. Oh, I love this. All my fucking food is here taken care of. Oh yeah, this socialism shit is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like this seems pretty all right. Guaranteed housing, guaranteed food. I got a job I can pay for. I can pay all my bills still. Yeah, yeah. This seems yeah. This not bad.
It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it doesn't seem bad. Have you always been on that side of the spectrum, or it had to like?
No, I certainly had to get here, and it was in fuck dude. When I was in high school, oh my goodness, I was fucking terrible, is what it was. When I was in high school, I was the Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder kind of fucking like conservative kid, dude. Like that was my shit. I was like, that's whose videos I was watching like every fucking day. Those are the talking points I was repeating all the fucking time. In fact, there was one girl in our friend group, and me and her, we got into it like all the fucking time. Like she was like the polar fucking opposite of me when it came to politics and shit. Because we'd argue all the fucking time, And every time I just keep repeating the same shit, the same fucking talking points that they got, throwing out the fucking buzzers, facts, logics, facts don't care about your fucking feelings. Or maybe she should work harder, take some fucking personal responsibility or shit, just completely foregoing the human aspect of anything she was saying and say, well, you need to get over your fucking feelings over here. These are the fucking numbers right here. These are the fucking facts about the situation. Okay, so clearly you're the one doing something fucking wrong here. And man, I was terrible with it. Like you said, it involved the fucking transphobia and the homophobia and stuff. And even looking back at it now, it's really weird because I followed everything that they said. I ate it like hook, line, and fucking sinker, except when it came to black people. That's the only time where I had a little bit of an issue there. It was like, you're saying all these shits and everything makes sense and that's great. And then he'd throw out some shit like 1350. Okay, hold on a second here. And and even then, like it was something where you kind of feel it like on a personal level, like that doesn't sound right. Okay, I feel like there's something underneath there. But again, I was like, okay, well, it's a facts and logic that he pulled up some fucking FBI numbers or some shit or whatever, so that must be true. So I'll just go along with it. No fucking critical thinking there at all. Just taking it, whatever the fuck's going on, and it sounded good because as a kid, at least in my perspective, it sounded good because you'd see all these fucking the clips and everything cut out for their fucking campus debates and everything, which grown ass man going to a fucking campus of kids, dog, like come on. But it looked good to a kid like me because they're over there and they're speaking fast, they're speaking clear with authority and everything. They've got this fucking Crowder had a fucking, what do you call it? It was a binder or some shit that he'd throw on a binder of shit of arguments and everything. It's fucking college kids would come and sit down. They'd make an argument. He'd just open the binder and say, you see that argument? It's right fucking here. In fact, here's the answer. Right fucking here. How I'm going to dismiss what you're saying. So I over there looking at like, yeah, man, these guys are legit. This is cool as shit. And it wasn't really, honestly, I don't know why she kept fucking talking to me. She could have just fucking chalked me off as a loser and just walked away from it. But damn near every day I was arguing with this girl. And eventually, I don't even remember what it was, but eventually she got through to me a little bit. And I started looking at it a little more critically. Like what it was is I think that it was the the personal aspect of it. Because like I said, those guys don't care about the fucking humans. They just looking at numbers and shit and saying, that's it, that's the end of it. And she kept hitting me with the personal aspect of it. Like, these are people who are hurting, or they might have this going on, or this is the reason that they might be doing this and everything. And, she kept on going at it. And eventually I started thinking about it and started comparing it to, my own life, my own mother, my own family and stuff like that. And it's like, a lot of the shit she's saying could apply to some of my fucking family out here, and I love my family. I love my family. So let me take a step back, take a little bit of a deeper fucking look at it a bit. And it wasn't until I was breaking out of it a little bit, but it wasn't until really that I joined the Army and I was going through basic. There's one specific moment that happened that broke it for me. It was like, okay, nah, this is bullshit. This is stupid. It was, or anybody who doesn't know, at least in Army basic training, when you go to fucking shower, everybody fucking showers. Okay.
Yeah, everybody showers. Yeah.
Okay, like open bays, no fucking stalls, there's no private, or I'll wait on the next part. You all go and shower in the fucking same one. Okay?
Exactly. It's all hanging out there, y'all. It's all hanging out.
We all go and fucking shower. And nobody fucking cares because we're all too fucking tired and exhausted from the smokings we got and all these fucking classes they have us sitting through and everything. Nobody fucking cares. We want to go and take a shower and we want to just go fucking sleep. And there was this one fucking dude. He's Latino of some kind. I don't remember exactly which, but he was adamant, dog. Like he was saying, I'm not going to take a shower with no fucking guys. This shit is gay. I'm not doing this shit, dog. I'm not fucking doing it. And like nobody can say shit to this guy, dog. Like, we got up to a point where I brought to the fucking drill sergeants and shit, dog. And he's like, I'm not fucking doing it. That's like gay shit. I ain't doing this shit. And hearing him go on and on about that, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that's actual fucking homophobic. I thought that I was bad with it. That's like actual, like that's actionable.
That's actual, yeah.
That's actual fucking homophobia right there. I'm not like that. I don't do that. And that's kind of what broke it for me. Was like, if this is really, what it is, hating other people for, who they are or whatever, is like, that can't be me, dude. I can't fucking do that. And
I love
throughout the beginning of it, they'll tell you that, damn near from day one, when you get there, like, listen, all this race shit, this fucking sexuality, that shit is done with. When you have this uniform on, dog, that shit says U.S. Army, that shit is fucking done with. Okay, all you motherfuckers are green. All you motherfuckers are equally fucking worthless. Okay, I hear any of y'all trying to do any of this bullshit on fucking where you were born, your sexuality, your fucking race, any of that shit, I'm fucking your career up. All you motherfuckers are fucking done, dog. Like this shit is a done deal. All that shit stops here today. And so it's like that kind of environment, really, when you're around a lot of different people. And that's really what it is. It's just getting around different people, not being cooped up in just one perspective all the time. Just talking to different people. Like that's really what broke me out of that shit.
Yeah. You know something? I really love that because like it was talking to other people and she hit you with the personal stuff, meaning empathy. Yeah, I mean, she really got to the empathetic part of you. And I think a lot of people started arguing in that way, started arguing with like the empathetic part, not just the statistics, but like the actual numbers, not the actual numbers, but the fact that, these are actually personal people you're talking about. I'm talking about numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like
spreadsheet, but like all these numbers are people. Like these things are personal things that happen to these people.
Exactly. These are actually humans, you know what I mean? And when you put yourself in that same situation, you know what I mean, what happens then? And when you argue from a point of empathy, it's very true, because this is one of the few props I'll give to Joe Rogan when he was talking to Ben Shapiro about this, when he was saying that it's good it's very easy to say, just don't pick up a pew pew. It's very easy to just say that, right? But if you growing up in an environment where that's all where that's all that's around you, you know what I'm saying, that's probably what you're going to be doing as well. If your father is doing that, if your brothers are doing that, your cousins are doing that, that's really all you know. Yeah, I mean, so it's very, very, it's very, very ridiculous to expect them to not follow in that footsteps where this is all they know. So you need to show them something that they don't know. You see what I'm saying? Right. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And that's very much the case nowadays, even with all the internet. You know what I'm saying? And in some ways, the internet makes it worse. You know what I'm saying? Because they blow up other aspects.
That's really it for you. Nobody can tell you shit.
Exactly. So they blow up other aspects of it. You feel what I'm saying? So that type of like empathetic argumentation actually does work. You see what I mean? Because it then puts you in the shoes of that person. You see what I'm saying? So it's now me. That's how that's how I'll argue. Not just with the stats and everything like that, but also the personal parts of it. You feel me? You feel me? Like when you are a people group that is not given certain opportunities, these things are eventually happen. You know what I mean? And it happens in every single case. You see what I'm saying? So I love that fact that she brought that up, because I had to start seeing that too. You know what I'm saying? Just from the personal aspect of it. I think for me it was around 2004 when George W. Bush was gonna get elected again, right? And the thing that made it an edge for him was the whole gay marriage thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? So people were voting for him off of the morality of it. And someone who was homosexual came up to me and said, "How would you like it if someone said that you can't marry who you love?" Yeah, I mean, and I was like,
Well, the crazy part
"Yeah,
is that was law at one point.
that was law at
That's
one
something
point."
that you could just look back and like,
Mhm.
damn, that's crazy because that shit actually that's not a what if question. That was
That
the
actually
case.
happened.
That
And I,
was
and I said, "Hey, that did
facts.
happen." Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. It did that. That's what Loving v. Virginia was about. That did happen. He said, "Yeah, exactly. This is my Loving v. Virginia."
This
Yeah, I
is
mean, so it's all like, oh, okay, yeah. That's when I realized,
yeah.
damn, yeah, these people are right. But yeah, man, like it is one of those things where just like how you said, college, like grown men going to college campuses. These are inexperienced kids. They're not gonna know what to say. You feel me?
These motherfuckers aren't on no fucking debate team or nothing. They're just regular ass kids going about their fucking day, taking these
Exactly.
same classes out
What's
here.
crazy is that whenever they will argue with people who know what they're talking about, they'll get smoked. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, like Ben Shapiro on Sam Harris show, smoked. You know what I'm saying? When Kirk went over to Oxford, smoked. Every single student in Oxford smoked him. You know what I'm saying? So because a lot of them they're Ivy League students. You see like Kirk
Yeah,
and them, they
these
never
most
they
students actually know what the fuck they're talking about. Like that's their fucking
mhm.
full-time thing, what they're doing.
Exactly. You see that Kirk never went. Kirk and them, they never go to Harvard. They never go to Yale. They never go to Princeton. They don't go to MIT. They don't go to these places. You know what I'm
It's our
saying? They're gonna get
community
smoked.
college out here somewhere.
Exactly. They go to the regular colleges. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, that's something that's what you brought up is one of those insidious things about conservative arguments, because they're made very, very easy. And human beings, we're kind of lazy. We take the easy path out. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's just how we work. If something is easy and digestible, we're just gonna take it and run with it. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to think about it more. But when you think about it more, a lot of people don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's harder to think critically. It really is harder, which is why I need to go ahead and set up my tent, go out to these college campuses, and ask people why should I believe in God. You know what I mean? So that's what I gotta start doing. I gotta start doing that myself. You know what I'm saying? I want to go ahead and move on and ask you something else, because one thing I know about being a black non-believer, dating is extremely hard. Now, the black dating sphere, I already see your face. The black dating sphere is already difficult. When you add in the fact that you don't believe, because one thing I always say is that when it comes to black women, they love them some Jesus. When it comes to black men, we love being the messenger. You see what I'm saying? We love being the messenger of Jesus, and black women love them some Jesus. You see what I'm saying? So it's always difficult. Yeah, I mean, for me, it took a while for me to meet the woman I'm with right now. How was it for you when you started going out there and women were finding out that you don't believe?
well, I'd say my first experience, I'll call it in high school. And I was dating this girl, really into church, like church choir and everything. Like that's her jam. And like I said, by that point, that was in shit. When did I? Yeah, because I joined the army that fucking year. That was our last year. That was senior year. Yeah. And at that point I knew fully that I'm a fucking atheist, dude. Like this religious stuff, that's absolutely off the fuck. That's too much for me. I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
that. But for that relationship, I did go to church with her every now and then. And eventually she broke up with me for unrelated reasons, which I look back at it now and I'm glad she did it. That wasn't going to be a good relationship
Mm-hmm.
to be in. That's for damn sure. And from then up until shit. Now, earlier this year, I was dating another girl, and that one I broke up with her for other reasons. God wasn't involved in that or anything at all. On
Mhm.
our second date, actually, was when we went over all the serious stuff. So like all the, where are we at politically? How about socially?
Mhm.
Religiously and all that stuff. And you seem like we lined up pretty well with all that stuff. Now, while that was hard, I'm an atheist. Ain't no fucking God out here. I don't believe in none of that shit.
Mhm.
She was more of there, there might be something, there might not be. I like to believe there is. It's more comforting to me. And, I can be cool with that kind of, with that
Me
kind
too.
of interpretation. Truthfully, as long as it's not something that's going to be like, okay, I got to drag your ass to church, I'll be cool with you.
I'll be cool. Mhm.
If that's what you need to be comfortable, and that just helps you go along with your life, I'm not going to bitch at you for that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I'm much the same way. Yeah, I mean, like I've always told people, like, if you were to come to me and tell me, hey, I'm starting to not believe this anymore, and I feel like I'm gonna hurt myself or somebody else, I will grab your phone and call your pastor myself. You know what I
No,
mean? And
like, you
I
hold on
would,
here a second. Let me go. Let me go to my bookcase. I might have a Bible real quick. Hold on to
yeah,
this for a second.
exactly.
Hold on to
Yeah,
this for a second. I'll make a call real quick.
exactly. Like I will take you myself. My daddy's still a pastor. I will call him up and have him pray for you. You know what I mean? Like I'll do it myself because that's
You
something
do
that you
that,
need.
bro.
Exactly. That's something that you need. Now, if you're gonna say that if I don't believe this anymore, I'm gonna hurt somebody. Okay, it's something that you need, but you also need a lot of psychiatric help. You know, you also need some help. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, you can't pray this away. You need
Yeah, you need that, bro.
you're gonna need some help. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I've always said. But me,
You're gonna hurt
for,
somebody. What your name was again?
for me, what it was so difficult for me was that the fact that I would meet women where they would be like, oh, you check off every box except for that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can't, nothing can be serious between us. But, after church Sunday, you give me a call. That would be so annoying, bro, because it's like at the end of the day, that was fun for a while. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? For the first year and a half, 2 years of it, that was pretty fun. But at the end of the day, I want genuine human connection. And that's not what I'm getting out here. You feel me? So, honestly, I was probably either never gonna find it or I was gonna be a stepfather. You know what I'm saying? Like it was gonna be one of those things. You feel me? So yeah, it was difficult out there.
I was listening to last week's show with our Linda, and she gave me hope when she was talking about her day life stuff. Because look, I'm still. It doesn't feel like it a lot when you're doing a lot of this. Thinking about more serious stuff like getting to relationships and everything. I'm only 24. I've still got time and everything. And she's
Mhm.
saying that she found her person at what 30 something. And
Mhm.
so, hearing that, I was like, okay, I don't need to like rush anything or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll,
there's no
I'll
rush.
take my time, sort out who I need to sort out. Just like she said, when you find somebody and they say, oh, like you were talking about, you check off every box except this one, just brush them to the side. It's okay. That's not somebody that you would want anyway. Just look for the people who want you. And so, hearing you two talk about that, you find love later in life, that's brought me a lot of hope because it's something that I'll think about a lot, especially when you got your fucking family members over here breathing down your neck. So, are you with anybody? You found somebody? It's like,
Mhm.
well, damn, you got to put some pressure on you now. But hearing that conversation from you two, that's definitely helped a bit and me feel like, okay, I don't have to like this isn't some achievement that I need to go and find. This is a love matter. It's something I should take seriously, try to find the right person for it.
Yeah, exactly. I found my person like around 33, 34. You know what I mean? So it's never a rush. You know what I mean? It's always one of those things where you'll find somebody. You still have time. Purple Dragon has another question. She asks, should atheist agnostic people turn down theists from the very beginning to save time so we risk being alone? Me, I think it depends on your standards. Me, when I was out there, I didn't turn down theist people because I understood that this was just our community. You know what I mean? Our community has a lot of people who are religious, and you're just gonna run into that. That's just the brunt of it. I only turn down people who like I think will be like extremely incompatible. Like you're Christian or Muslim to the point where you're either gonna be pushing it on me or like I see it's gonna be like a big problem in our relationship. And that doesn't just go for theists. That goes for the crystal manifestation zodiac people too. Yeah, I mean, because
What?
yeah,
That's such a cancer thing to say. I can't believe you.
exactly, because birthday racism with
Birthday racism.
it's a crazy thing to live your life by, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna take you seriously if you're talking about, I talk to you this way because Saturn's moon was in retrograde around Mercury and the crystals of Virgo. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? You said some bullshit to me. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, take responsibility for what you said.
It's a whole nother language.
Yeah, exactly. What do you say, Jay?
Oh, I think like you, it depends on the type of person you are. Because we hit on it very briefly earlier, which is just that, as long as you're not pushing on me, I'll leave you to do you. I think that's something that between two people, they can probably figure out each other's boundaries. And that's the important bit, is setting your fucking boundaries and enforcing them. I think the bigger issue comes in where if you decide to have a kid, because now you got to wonder, okay, well, are we going to raise them in free thought or raise them in church or whatever? If it came to that, my person turns out to be a believer in some kind, as long as they're not too pushy with it or anything, and we get down far enough down the line where a kid's involved, I would like to raise my kid the way that my dad raised me when it came to religion, which is that if we're gonna teach you about any religion, it's gonna be all of them, dog. You ain't getting just fucking one, okay? You ain't just going to be a Christian or a Latter-day Saint or whatever it is. You're gonna learn about all of them, okay? So you want to go take our kid to church? Fine, you can take him here. You want to take him again? Okay, no, you got to go to the Buddhist one down there. No, you got to go to the Muslim one down there. No, you got to go and chill with the Norse pagans over there. Everything. You're going to learn about all of them, and he's going to figure out and come to your own conclusion there. Yeah. But I think it's definitely a respect thing. You got to put your boundaries there. Know that, hey, these are my fucking lines. Don't cross these fucking lines, okay? And if you guys can do that and keep that communication with each other and make that desire known early on, I think that's really important, getting out the way. And I think you can be okay. It's something hard. I equate, you know what it is? I equate it kind of to like interracial dating. Okay. And in the sense that we have two completely different, perspectives on how we should be doing whatever we're doing. And as long as we respect those, I think we can be just fine. There might be little things in here that cause some friction, of course, because, those are just two different lived experiences. But if we can be respectful of those, talk those things out, communicate and everything, I think we'll be okay. Oh, kill his mic. Yeah, I'm spitting bars out here. I destroyed his freaking mic.
There we go. You can hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There it is. Appreciate that. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree. Because it all depends on communication, right? We all just have to ask each other. We all have to just communicate with each other, say what our standards are, say what our red lines are, et cetera, et cetera. If you have all that, you know what I mean? In my opinion, you'll be fine no matter what type of relationship it is. I've seen Christians and Muslims date. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't think it's that different. Yeah, I've seen it. Especially if you go to like Philly and New York. Yeah, like that happens a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, if you go to Philly and New York, you're gonna see a lot of Christians and Muslims date. Yeah, that's just a thing up there. I do have a question over on the TikTok. You're not gonna be able to see it because it's on my TikTok. Yeah. But Caddy asked, what is my position on revival efforts of indigenous spirituality? I love it. I think we all should go back to not only understanding, this is what I say. It's fine, in my opinion, if you are, a Black person, a Native American, so an indigenous person from Central America, et cetera, if you're a Mayan, if you're West African, et cetera, Chinese, whatever you are, it is fine to be whatever you want and be Christian, right? It's fine to be whatever you are and be Christian. That's fine. But the problem I always have is the denigration of your spiritual heritage. I've always had that issue, especially when it comes to Black people. Like, remember when I said earlier that a lot of people be cooned out for Christ? Like, the amount of
understand the message, white Jesus, all right?
Exactly. The amount of Black Christians that I've seen denigrate our ancestors to the point where they said that we deserved slavery.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of those.
Said, like, at that point, yeah, I mean, I want us to, like, it's not a problem for me if you are, if you're Yoruba person and you're a Christian, that's fine. But if you're Yoruba person and you're Christian and you said that your ancestors deserve to get enslaved, You know what I mean? Because I'm a descendant of that. Like I check my DNA, I have Yoruba in me. You know what I'm saying? You're saying that we deserve to get enslaved. Now you're just being raccooned for Christ. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, this is part of your history. You feel me? And I think your history and your heritage is very important to who you are as a person. Like your whole entire identity isn't just Christianity, it's what you got built up into you all the way up to here. Because gospel music, where did it come from?
Yeah,
It came from Western Africa. You know what I'm saying? The way we were singing from back then, it came from that. You feel me? So that's where I'm at with it. Like I love the attempts to revive indigenous religions, especially for Black folks, because at the end of the day, like things like European witchcraft is just seen as whimsical. But when it comes to African witchcraft, all of a sudden it's demonic. You see what I'm saying? What do you say, Jay?
So I'm not a person who cares too much about, at least personally, when it comes to my personal things, I don't care too much about the past, honestly. Like, I'm not overly concerned necessarily about, where my family line came from or anything. I'm only really concerned about the people who are living with me now. So that would be my parents and grandparents. And that's really as far back as I care, because they're the only ones that are living that I can go and talk to. Mm-hmm. So I'm not necessarily concerned about where I actually come from or anything like that. It's just, my parents, grandparents, they're from Jamaica. I care about Jamaica by extension. That's really about where my fucks end, Mm-hmm. So I don't begrudge or berate anybody for going back even further than that, especially when it comes to the spirituality thing. If you want to go back and go and find out, what your ancestors believed in, that's great. That's good for you. Go and learn that fucking history, pass that shit on down to your kids if you can, go back to the original fucking country and see if you can find anybody there who cares about it. And maybe you guys can talk and figure it out, and you can bring that into your life, because it might not just be religious things. There might be other practices there. Like maybe there's some fucking recipes in there, Mm-hmm. Maybe there's, like you were saying, maybe there's some songs and some dances in there that you might want to find and things like that. And even though I personally don't care about it that much, it could be a great way for you to connect to a culture that you feel like was stolen from you, which mm-hmm. I shouldn't say feel like it was. It's not a feel like that happened,
Yeah, that happened.
But I don't begrudge anybody for wanting to go back and get that for themselves. I personally, I'm just not interested in it. It's not something that's directly affecting me. Or it might be, maybe in some social aspects of it, but I wouldn't know about it. So it's not something that I care about too much.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny you say your wife is, that's your family came from Jamaica. That's my wife's from. So yeah, we Haitian Jamaican mix. Yeah, so that you already know that wedding food. Yeah. yeah. That wedding food it's gonna be amazing. You know what I'm saying? So when you come to the B.A.A.S.H cookout, you know what I'm saying, the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanists cookout, you already know. You ever had Haitian food, J-B?
I'll be all right.
You ever had Haitian food?
I have not. So you guys will be my first. We'll see how well you do.
Hold on, what part of Florida were you living in that you didn't have no Haitian food, bro?
Look, I'm not saying I didn't have the opportunity to go in there, because like I said, my dad's a very social fucking person. He wanted to go to every fucking party that existed and just enjoy himself and have a good time. I absolutely did not. He would forcibly take me to a lot of these parties, and I would sit my ass in the truck. Okay, I'd go out. That was our fucking compromise. Okay, he dragged me there. I'd socialize for maybe 10 minutes, maybe get some food if I was hungry, and then I'd go sit in the truck for like the rest of the 2 or 3 hours that he was fucking there. It's not an exaggeration to say I very much kept to myself as a kid. I was a fucking isolationist, is what it was. I didn't want to be in the fucking house. I wanted to stay home, play my fucking Nintendo. That's it. Leave me alone.
Hey man, right after we get off here, I'm about to go play some Infernax. You know what I mean? That old school retro game. So hold on, let me Purple Dragon. I appreciate you, Purple Dragon, for all the questions you're giving us tonight. You have another question. Do you ever feel the need to try to convert people to atheism? No. I feel the need to normalize atheism. And when I mean normalize, you'll be surprised how many people out there will look at you like you have two heads if you tell them that you're a Black person that doesn't believe in any type of gods or spirits. You know what I'm saying? Because I've gotten that a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised how many, especially like I said, online right now on Threads and on Facebook, how many Black Christians there are out there either denigrating our ancestors, ignoring racism, or saying that racism is actually came from atheism, which is kind of crazy, right? Yeah, so it's it's one of those things where I said I want to normalize us so people know people like are us, like look like us and exist and aren't out there, eating babies. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of those out there. What do you say, Jay?
No, I don't ever feel the need to. I'm very much we call it an anti-theist, I suppose they say. And so I oppose that. So I wouldn't want to like replace that with atheism or anything. I think that'd be just as fucking bad. Like you said, I'd want it to be more normalized, where I don't have to go and I meet somebody and say, "Oh, so what church do you go to?" Like, really, dog? You get it? that's what you want to know about me? But it's just like you said, it's just a normalization thing. I don't feel the need to go out there and quote unquote, preach the fucking word of atheism or anything. The most I got is this fucking necklace right here. It's a pansy that says "free thinker" on the bottom of it. That's really all I got to show my atheism out there to the fucking world. If somebody asks about it, I'll talk to them about it. That's really as far as I go with it.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm going. I'm making those T-shirts for the B.A.A.S.H cookout. So
yeah, those designs that I like.
Yeah, man, those designs. I need to make some of those pendants too. Yeah, I mean, so
if you
we
get one
have
of
some of
those, that'd be great because I'll wear a different necklace. I've had this one for I think 2 or 3 years now. I mean, it's not worn out or going anywhere. It's starting to fade a little bit though. But yeah, if I get another one, I'll wear that too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Jay, we hear about we're at about the hour mark, winding down. How's it going, Secular Smoke? I just want to ask you one last question. Unless we get more questions from the audience, but I'm add a question for you as well. Now, there's a reason. Actually, let me say this, because before I ask that question, I want to ask something else. Being a black person who's a non-believer, just like how we said before, can be very, very isolating. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was extremely isolating, especially since I was coming out of it. Just like how you said, that person you talk to, what church do you go to, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, so it was one of those things, and it was hard for me to find a community until I got on Facebook, until I got on Reddit, until Discord became a thing. That's when I started finding the community. For yourself, was it also difficult to find a community? Was it isolating for you when you knew that you didn't believe, but you didn't have a lot of people who were around who didn't?
Atheism sometimes it did feel that way. But like I've been saying this whole time, and it cannot be understated how much of a personal isolationist I am extremely comfortable by myself. I don't have an issue with not necessarily having, people around me all the time. I always talked about a lot of things. Now, recently, I've been finding other, black groups. So like you said, Ask Black Atheists, fucking black men on Reddit, black gun owners over there too, and everything. I've been finding more community to us, and it has been a very positive and good addition to my life. But I can't ever look back at it and think, I felt really bad at that time. I felt really lonely about it. It's just, like I said, I'm very comfortable by myself, so that's never been a particular issue for me. And even throughout high school, I met my core friend group. There's like 3 to 5 people, I believe it is. And I talk to them daily on Discord. I'm over there cutting up with them all the time. So I've never felt like I was really alone. And I go back to visit my mom like at least once a month. So I see my friends often enough. So I've never felt at any point that I was particularly lonely or isolated, at least not within atheism or anything like that. The only time I did feel that way was when I was a volunteer firefighter and I lived at the fire station because I was away from everything. Okay, that was the only time I actually felt. I might have been going through a little bit of a mental health crisis when I was a volunteer firefighter. Now that I think about it, like looking back on it, that was probably the only time I've actually felt like, okay, I probably shouldn't be by myself. I need to go and find people.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. For me, I think when I got out of it, because I was afraid. One of the main reasons why. Hey, baby. One of the my wife was taking a nap. Now she's up. One of the main reasons why it was hard for me to leave religion is because I didn't want to lose that community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I hear from a lot of people.
Yeah, like my entire childhood, all my childhood friends were from church, or like all of them. You see what I'm saying? Like best man at I was the best man at someone's wedding. My best friend, church. What I met him, church. I mean, my first girlfriend, church. I mean, all of my special experiences. Okay, baby. all of my special experiences from when I was a kid, where they happen, church, Christmas time, memories. Even today, the first Christmas time memories I have, church. You know what I'm saying? So it was a really big part of my life. So not believing in that, I thought we'll lose that community, which is why I kind of had to seek out, other people, especially where I felt isolated, especially where everybody, were, let's pray over this, let's pray over that, God is with you, this and everything like that. It was
Motherfucker,
difficult to find everybody
talk?
else.
Can we talk and figure out some
Exactly.
actual actionable steps to help me?
Yeah,
Like, let's skip this little prayer bit and let's get to the marching. Let's figure something out here.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yo, I need help. I just praying. You know what I'm saying? I need some actual fucking help.
Truly, I do, but I would rather help. I need
Yeah,
help.
exactly. Like I appreciate the prayer thing, but you gonna fucking help me or not, bro? Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's how it was. So finding, ourselves, Black Atheists on Facebook, United Black Non-Believers on Facebook, you know what I mean, the Discord, all that. It was
Check out. I haven't heard that one.
yeah, Black Non-Believers on Facebook. It's with Mandisa Thomas. She's probably one of the biggest or the biggest Black atheist activist out there.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, so
I heard her.
yeah. So yeah, she's the biggest one. So yeah. And that's the type of stuff I want to do. I might become Charlie Cook of the left myself. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. But I'm probably too old to be getting on these university campuses. But we'll see. We'll see. But that is one thing that I did want to bring up, because when it comes to this, I guess micro community that we got right now, a lot of because of the isolation that a lot of Black atheists feel, because there's not a lot of us out there who are vocal about it. Like even in my family, I know there are people who don't believe, but they're not saying anything because they don't want to lose their family, right? So a lot of people would say that what we need to do is, there are two ways to do this, right? You can either focus on a community, or we can be out there just like how myself I am. I'm out there debating people. Or you have Black Atheist Rants, who's out there, doing activism and debating people and doing interviews like this and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, there are people who say that we should focus on building that community instead of being out there and being more confrontational with it. You know what I'm saying? And there are people who say that, you know what, we need to be out there with our face out there and being confrontational, because like folks need to know that not only are we here, but we need to promote critical thinking and everything like that. And then there's the the two-way path that basically we can do both. Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, what should the focus be more on?
Well, I mean, I'm the way the fucking two-way path is. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for some reason people feel like an entire movement has to always only go one way, and I don't think that's true. You have some people who are better at some things than others. All right, like some people, they're really good at going on debating things, doing the research, and bringing those up to light with other people. That's really fucking important. And I mean, like I said earlier, when I was in the fucking conservative sphere bit, that came because motherfuckers were online doing these debates and shit. All right, so like it works. I was in that sphere for a while. That clearly works. Okay, it fucking got me. Yeah. So I think you can do that. That people who are good at that, that's what their focus should be on. And then the people who are good at building community, they're more, they want to go around and talk to people in the neighborhood or whatever, or say, hey, we've got this space over here. Come on by. We can talk through your issues and whatever in regards to religion. And, no matter where you are, you'll have a home here. I think those people should do that. They don't have to be two competing things. I think they're both just two things that you can do to get the same result. Because not everybody's going to be responsive to the same message anyway. Some people might have a good enough community. They don't care about the community aspect of it. They want to go and watch your fucking debates, And some people, it might be the opposite. So, you just do whatever you're personally better at. And I think that's where it should be.
Word. Hey, I love that, man. That's a word. Hey, y'all, listen. Follow J-Man on everything, and he's gonna give you everything that he got.
I only got two fucking socials. I got a fucking Blue Sky at Dream J-Man, DREAMJMAN. Tell you right now, the only thing that's on there is a bunch of muscular women, a bunch of retweets about Lucina from Fire Emblem, because she's my favorite fucking Fire Emblem character, and that's occasionally I'll post my guns and stuff on there, because that's one of my hobbies. I go out shooting with the guys every now and then. So I might post some fucking gun stuff over there. That's all you find. On video game stuff, you know, fucking Lucina and a lot of muscular women over there. That's what you'll find there. Or you can find me on Reddit too, Dream J Man with 15. There's actually 15 at the end of that one. I just browse a bunch of fucking subs. I don't do shit on there either.
Yeah, man.
But, you know,
All right, man.
If this spoke to you for some reason, you're like, yeah, I gotta go talk to that guy. You know, hit me up. I guess. Yeah, I'll talk to you for a bit. I don't mind.
Cool. I will put all those socials when this goes out on the main channel, the Black Atheist Coalition. You can follow that on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube as well, Valsy Thoughts. You know, the link tree is in the bio. You can find all of my socials there. And this was a great conversation, and I appreciate you, J Man, for coming on up. You know, I'm honored, and I hope to see you all at the Black Atheist Skeptics and Humanists Cookout, the B.A.A.S.H Cookout.
I'll be there.
Yeah, be there at the B.A.A.S.H Cookout, y'all. Going down next year, 2026. Next week. I mean, actually, not the next week. This Saturday. This Saturday, I will be doing a live about it. We'll be talking about it more. So go ahead and come on through to the B.A.A.S.H Cookout. We will have food. We will have music. Black Atheist Rants will be there performing his singles. So remember to stream all his music so we could all, you know, be saying it in unison. You know what I mean? Like we gotta have that. We gotta have, you know, an atheist twerk off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
okay.
all you beautiful Black atheist women out there, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to have a twerk off. So y'all gotta come through.
I ain't hear no fucking discrimination, dude. You listen. Some of you atheist guys out there, if y'all got it on you, come out there too. Okay, I want to see you too.
Hey, sometimes the guys be, I'll be like, yo, how you do that, bro? How'd you figure that out?
All right. If you were fucking twerk king, come out there. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, let's see what you got, bro. Like I'll be amazed too. I'll be like, yo, how'd you do that, bro? How you figure that out? Because
where the fuck you learn that?
I can't move that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's my back will go out. You feel me? Like what do y'all do?
Real quick, how much time we got for bonus content? Real quick.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time for bonus content. Go ahead.
So back to, because brought it up earlier, and I just want to put this out there because, you know, it was a learning experience for me. It might be a learning experience for somebody fucking else, and it might just be a funny story. So if you stuck around this long, here's your fucking bonus content. Okay. It was when I just moved to Tennessee. That was like, sheesh, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago or something like that. My truck was in the shop and I had to go and get an Uber to get back home. And the dude who showed up in my Uber, a black guy, you know, we got to talking and stuff. And back then, I say back then, I'm still a Satanist, but I'm not as into it as I am now. It's more of a whenever it's convenient for me kind of thing. Where like if I'm in a situation where my regular atheism isn't enough, throwing out, I'm a Satanist, you know, that'll get somebody to back up off me real quick. You know, so that was when I was a lot more heavily into it, and I had the fucking pendant on and everything. So, you know, we got to talk, and he started asking me about it and everything, and, you know, ran him through it. Just a quick overview, which is basically, you know, just our 7 tenets, which are awesome, by the way. 7 tenets are fucking great, better than any fucking commandments you'll find out there.
They are.
You know? And
you motherfuckers need Satan.
Talk about that a little bit. And, you know, he mentioned, you know, I'm a Muslim. I'd like to invite you over to our. He didn't use the word mosque. I'm going to use the word mosque because that's what I know them as, but that's not what he said to me. I just don't remember what he called it. And for some reason, I said yes, and I agreed to go over there. And it was that Saturday, I believe it was. And I did grab my truck and I drove on over there. And it was one of those. It's kind of like a duplex, I suppose, like one of those, but it was all cleared out. So, you know, you could have a lot more people in there. And I wasn't sure that was the right place because, you know, it was a fucking duplex, but now it was because I saw a sign on the door and everything. And I went in, and something that surprised me that I'm not going to lie to you, I think it's a great thing. What they have is they have an armed security guard there. And I assume he's a member of the church and everything, of course. You know, he was dressed the same as everybody else. And what they did was I stepped through the door and I made a little bit of a left, and they had like a kind of like a reception area. You know, there was a metal door that I had to walk through, and then they had like a counter, another guy there at the counter, and then they had a brother standing up there with a shotgun, and there was another brother. He had a metal detector. You know, he waved me through, patted me down, and everything. And I think that's actually really fucking cool. I thought that was really awesome. And I went in and I sat down for their service and everything. And I hadn't realized it at the time because like I said, I was very much more into my Satanism then, and I had my fucking pendant out and everything, and I sat down, and I don't know what the Islam or the Muslim pastor guy is called. Like he pointed me out and he said, "Hey, welcome, young brother." And you know, he knows my pen. He said, "I hope that's not a Star of David you got on you back there." And I was like, "Oh shit, I got this on me." You know, I tucked it in real quick. I said, "Nah, it's not like that." And you know, he laughed a little bit, and he kept on. And you know, the service went on, and they started talking about whatever it is Muslims talk about and everything. And you know, I was sitting there, I was listening. I tell you right now, I can't remember a fucking lick of it. I only remember like 3 fucking moments. I'm gonna bring them all up. And they got to talking, and somewhere through the middle of the sermon or something, they did their call and response. Where I don't remember the exact words. So you're gonna have to excuse me if I fuck it up because I will fuck it up. I believe that the call was "Assalamu alaikum," and then the response. Whatever what you just said. That was the response there. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, dog. This is how I knew the fucking military indoctrination took me. Because brother, when they said that shit, my heart fucking jumped. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking oh shit, I'm gonna die. Like that's what this is. I'm gonna fucking die here. And you know, I mean, of course that didn't fucking happen, you know, but it was just that instinctual fear that just can't grip me. You know, you go your whole career, like these are the guys we're training to kill. These are the evil guys over there in the Middle East and everything. These are the kind of things they say. And you know, they said that it gripped my heart. I was like, oh shit. This is I should not fucking be here. You know, and then they finished off with their sermon and they signed off with their Allahu Akbar thing. And again, same thing happened there. And I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I shouldn't be here. You know, and then at the end of it, the Muslim pastor, again, you'll have to forgive me because I don't know the exact title and everything. He started going and talking and everything. And he was joking around and stuff, and he brought up something about how they had to make sure they separated the brothers from the sisters on one side. That's exactly how it was in there too. All the guys were on the left side. All the guys were on the right side of the room. All the women were on the left side. And he said, you know, we got to make sure we separate these. Iman, okay, thank you.
Iman, that's what name. Iman.
Okay. And he said, you know, we got to separate these brothers. Some of them getting out too crazy. And he said, although you know. These days, some of these brothers, we might have to separate some of these brothers from the brothers. And then, you know, that was just a little slide jab at some homophobia there. And I was like, okay,
of course.
That might have been a joke, but I got you. I know what you're about. I know what you're about.
Of course. Yeah. It's always like that.
You know, I just, you know, I left, went back to the fire hall, and I was thinking of my thoughts for a little bit. Just reflecting on my experience there and really just reflecting on my reaction to it. There's nothing they said was anything all that crazy aside from, you know, the obviously religious shit. That's always going to be crazy. But, you know, compared to any other thing like fucking Christianity or whatever, nothing they said was really out of order. It's nothing you haven't heard. It's the same thing. And, you know, I was just reflecting on my reaction to that. I was like, you know, Maybe I am a bigot just a little bit. But, you know, I know that now anyway, because like I said, I've developed into my anti-theist views. So I know I'm a bigot towards religion. I know that.
So, I mean, when
religion, I don't like it being here. I don't fucking like it. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. I like the military kind of indoctrinates you a lot, but yeah, you know what's interesting about that? I wish I knew you were a Satanist, like, because I know there's a lot of questions I want to ask around that, because it's like it's not a lot of times. We got plenty of time. No, we got time. But it's not a lot of it's rare that you meet a black Satanist. I mean, like black atheists are becoming more common, but a Satanist is something that you almost never see. Even a lot of black atheists are kind of like have a little bit of aversion to Satanism, but the tenets that I've read are pretty great. You know what I'm saying? So I know Satanism is more like ironic because I don't actually believe Satan exists. It's just more of a like a troll religion. You know what I mean? How did you get into Satanism, and like what is it actually all about?
That is a good question, and I wish I had a better answer for you because I really don't remember all that much, to be honest with you. I think it was shit. What was it? It was they had they were in the news, is what it was, and it was a case that they had won. It might have been about the after school Satan club, is what it was. I heard about what they were doing with that, and I said, "Really? Satan's over here taking off your religion. Let's let's see what that's all about for a second." And I hopped on their website real quick, and they had a bunch of resources over there. They had all the fucking 7 tenets, the quick hits fact that show the distinction between the Satanic Temple and the Church of Satan. Those are two very different fucking organizations.
Yeah, two different organizations.
Even though I'm not as into it now as I was before, that's like the one thing that bothers me is somebody will come up and say, "Yeah, these guys are great. I love the Church of Satan. They do great work." And it's like, it's not the Church of Satan, it's the Temple of Satan. Okay, these are two very different organizations. Yeah. And while they may have similar overlapping beliefs, promise you they are different fucking organizations.
Yeah, they're different. Yeah, but yeah, that's a really interesting because you don't see that a lot, and I think you'll start to see that more and more because Lil Uzi Vert was on that for a while, you know what I'm saying, especially with the inverted crosses on his on all his concerts and everything like that. So yeah,
I think shit like that is more performative than anything else. That shock value, just like, hey, come look at me, look at my fucking they say any publicity is good publicity. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, I definitely want to see more about what this Satanic Temple is about, because I've heard they do a lot of good things. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. Gnostics. Yeah. He's on about like church history and the Gnostics. They're pretty cool. There was even, I think there was even a called like the Luciferians, I think, and like that was like an old version.
I don't know what the fuck they're about, but yeah, they're out there somewhere doing something.
Yeah. There's also theistic Satanists. I know that, like those who actually believe that there's a real Satan.
That ain't what we're about. That's something else.
Yeah, that is something else.
They're out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're out there, and they actually believe that Yahweh is the evil one, and Satan is actually the good one.
I mean, if you read the fucking Bible, they're right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You will.
No further than the fucking Great Flood, Job returning that woman into salt because she's looking at her homeland that you just burned to the fucking ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. But all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and roll up on out of here. Right. Definitely come through Saturday when I have the live about the cookout. They definitely come through. It's gonna be on TikTok mostly, but definitely come through. I'll be cross streaming it.
I don't gotta say that.
No, it's all good. I'll be cross streaming any.
They said, "Oh, TikTok's dying." Oh, and then it came back, and they said, "Oh no, stay TikTok." Call and say he's so great. And I was like, "Okay, fuck this. I can't do this shit anymore."
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm be cross streaming in everywhere anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'll cross stream into Facebook and all that good stuff. So we'll be straight. Yeah, I mean, but all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Again, follow J-Man on Blue Sky and on Reddit. The Black Atheist Coalition, this video would be out in about 2 weeks. You'll see his socials there. I appreciate y'all for coming through tonight, for giving me all these likes over here on TikTok. And this Thursday we're gonna be back to the debates, so come on through then. Peace.
All right, sounds good. Catch y'all later.
All right, give me a second. I just gotta. There we go.